What is going on, world? What's up, YouTube? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new StarCraft 2 video. This one is between two players on the WCS Pro circuit, spawning here in the top right hand corner of Year Zero LE, playing with the Terran pieces. We have none other than SpeCial, and his opponent spawning the top left-hand corner of the map, playing with the blue Zerg pieces. We have the current best player on the planet. His name is Serral. So, guys and girls, I am very excited about this game and this series in particular that was played at the WCS Spring, which was the grand finals of that tournament, which of course is the game and the series that we are witnessing here together. Very excited about it. Two of the best players in their specific races. And I've got to say, I mean, we know Serral. This guy is an absolute force to be reckoned with, a very fun Zerg player to watch. And SpeCial has been playing really well, actually, with the Terran pieces. So this should make for a very good game and a very good series, to say the least. So without further ado, let's see what both our players are deciding to do here. In the early stages of the game, it looks like Serral is going for the hatch gas pool opener. So a lot of times Serral does not go very off script when it comes to his build orders. He'll, generally speaking, go for the same sort of builds over and over again, but at those moments where you think he's just going to have a standard macro-focused game, he will change it up on his opponents sometimes and go for some very aggressive builds or just really aggressive pushes in the game. So SpeCial, though, on the other hand, we are going to see him going for that barracks into the natural command center. So he's going to be going for a relatively standard build as well. So we'll have to kind of, you know, just kind of keep tabs on all that is going on in this game here, because there's going to be a lot of action, I'm sure, that is going to be happening here as we go. It's a very really exciting, you know, it's going to be an exciting series, an exciting tournament, I think, to say the least. And here we go. We are going to see a little bit of some action early on with, of course, this Reaper is going to try to do a little bit of some damage to some of these Zerglings, but, you know, nothing too crazy as of yet, as we see that Reaper is going to kind of micro back and forth, and those Zerglings, the same exact thing. Serral is not going to lose those Zerglings for almost anything. But that being said, we are going to see the third hatchery coming in now for Serral. And then we're also going to see on the opposite side a very quick, fast third command center. So a little bit greedy by our Terran player, to say the least. But nonetheless, we are going to see, you know, a standard macro-focused game, it looks like, by both players, at least here in the early stages of the game. As this Reaper is just trying to be a little bit of a nuisance to the Queen and those Zerglings. But Metabolic Boost is being researched and is going to be finishing up in less than 2 seconds for Serral. And now we're seeing the starport follow-up. We've got that factory that's already out on the playing field. So it does look like both players are starting to kind of give each other a little bit of respect. It does seem like SpeCial wants to kind of, you know, kind of keep Serral on his toes. He wants to kind of see, you know, what kind of easy kills he can maybe get here or there. And, you know, we will see here shortly if that ends up being, you know, what kind of damage he's able to do here, if any, as that creep spread is starting to move out of Serral's bases. So Serral doesn't seem too phased by this. He is going for that evolution chamber here, and we're also going to see a couple more queens that are being researched right now, or are going to be morphing in here shortly, and we're going to see some Hellions coming in now for our Terran player. A couple of those Hellions will be really good against of course, the likes of the Zerglings. But we are going to see the battle cruiser is coming out, and this is such an interesting build by our Terran player. I absolutely love it. We're going to have to kind of wait and see exactly what ends up happening here shortly, because this may very well catch our Zerg player a little bit off guard, as we are going to see the Baneliness coming in, as well as that lair. So very shortly here, we are going to see a battle cruiser coming in. Now, they just take absolutely forever and a day to come out, you know, to just build and be created. A nice surround there on that Reaper, but we are going to see, we're going to be seeing here very shortly, the battle cruiser is going to come out, and this could get really, really scary. Now, there are going to be spore crawlers that are coming in, but at the same time, it looks as if our Terran player is planning on getting, you know, not terribly aggressive, but a little bit aggressive, as you got to be very careful here. You do not want to lose these Zerglings for practically free, as all of these, as we've got those Hellions that are going to be starting to move in here very shortly. It looks like they want to get a little bit aggressive, as we are going to see that battle cruiser is out onto the playing field, and the battle cruiser is doing a substantial amount of, you know, really a lot of these, you know, both players are now going to have to kind of jaw for position here, as an infestation pin is going to be followed up here. Those +1/+1 upgrades are going to be coming in as well. But man, this battle cruiser is really causing a little bit of some problems, as the cannon is going to be researched in less than 10 seconds. Ground Carapace is going to be finishing up here for Serral, but there is a lot happening all over the map. As SpeCial, this is really buying him some time. But at the same time, we are going to see Serral. He's not really, you know, he's not terribly concerned at this point in the game. He's just kind of moving into that Roach Horn. He's getting you know, he's getting all of his upgrades that are necessary right now. Of course, we're going to see the switch up here, and I think that's going to probably be really helpful for Serral at some point or another, because he is switching over to the Infestors, which, you know, of course, if you got that Parasite, that Neural Parasite, he's got, you know, a decent ground-based unit composition, but at the same time, I really like the position that SpeCial is in right now. He seems to be, you know, moving around the map really, you know, pretty well. He's trying to, you know, I just think he needs to start taking care of this creep spread. But here we go. We are going to see a lot of units are going to be starting to move out here shortly, as those battle cruisers once again are starting to do as much damage as possible. And we are going to see, once again, the battle cruisers are going to be pushed back, at least for the time being. And a lot of, you know, of course, these Hellions that are near the middle of the map are just going to basically be trying to clear out a lot of these creep spread and these creep tumors, as melee attacks level 1 and Neural Parasite are going to be finishing up in less than 5 seconds here for Serral. So he's getting, you know, kind of in a good spot, at least as from the standpoint of, you know, those upgrade count. Looks like those battle cruisers are going to head back home. Doesn't seem like a terrible amount of damage was dealt there, but I mean, you just can never count Serral out of these engagements, I mean, to say the least. I mean, this is a guy who is absolutely the best player on the planet, doing, you know, just doing Serral-like things. I mean, he's just kind of going into his normal build. He's going ahead. He's getting a lot of those roaches, those, you know, Zerglings, Ravagers, getting all those necessary upgrades that he needs to. But what I am noticing is there is a lot of things happening all over the map right now. You've got handfuls of Zerglings, as well as Cyclones and Hellions that are moving around as well. So it's very interesting as this game has kind of progressed. Both players have been, you know, given these opportunities to kind of, you know, do what they please, at least at this point in the game. The question is who's going to make the first critical mistake. Here we go. The Micro's going to be going backwards, but going onto creep might have not been the best decision there by SpeCial, as Serral is trying to close the gap at this point between these two players. We are going to see a couple of these siege tanks are out on the playing field. They are going to start doing a little bit of some damage, but it looks like those Zerglings might be able to get a couple of tanks. Just as I say that, it does look like those are going to be barbecued by the blue-flamed Hellions. So now we've got these roaches that are starting to move across the map here. Burrow is going to be finishing up in less than 10 seconds now for SpeCial, and it looks like it does look like SpeCial is really trying to do as much damage as he possibly can. But he is doing some, right? But it does look like Serral is trying to you know, get those necessary, all the necessary defensive structures that he needs. But here we go. It does look like Serral might be trying to go in for possibly a surround at some point, and beautiful play here, utilizing the infestors there. Beautiful play, absolutely devastating there for our Terran player, as it looks like Serral, that was pretty much the very first engagement that really went in favor of Serral, and it looks like, you know, you got some battle cruisers out on the playing field, but this army of Serral is just starting to, you know, it's starting to mushroom. It's starting to become a bigger and bigger deal as far as that's all concerned. But we are going to see now that that force is going to be forced back home, at least for the time being. Now we are going to see that Nidus worm is going to be coming in here, and that's going to be shut down relatively quickly. But I think what Serral is doing is he is trying to create problems with the Nidus worm for our Terran player. And Serral, though, not you know, definitely no stranger to using the Nidus worm. He wants to create as many issues as possible, and you know, there's just things happening all over the map as these battle cruisers are going to start trying to take out a lot of those spore crawlers at what is now the 5th base location of Serral. Now, you do not want to lose these battle cruisers, and that would be very, very bad. Beautiful play here by Serral. Absolutely, just absolutely doing massive amounts of damage to a couple of those, of those battle cruisers. Now, we are going to see the Locusts are going to be coming through here. Looks like they are going to go right after a lot of these units here over at the 4th base location, and we know what those Locusts can do if they are given enough time, but those battle cruisers are in a beautiful position. And it does look like Serral's continuing the infestor production, which is a very interesting decision here. I like how Serral's got in the Nidus worms. He's got, of course, you know, he's been really utilizing them really well up to this point in the game, just kind of spreading them across the map here. And it does look like some of those roaches are going to try to take out a lot of those units, but here's the swarm hosts. Those swarm hosts are going to lift off, and they're going to try to do as much damage as possible as they are coming towards that 5th base location here. These Locusts are going to try to do as much damage as possible. They're going to start target firing down that planetary fortress. Does not look like a whole lot of damage is being dealt as of yet, but it does look like SpeCial's actually dealing with this relatively well, but at the same time, SpeCial, or I should say Serral, is really trying to pull those battle cruisers out of position, and I think that's a really good decision by Serral, at least, you know, at this stage in the game. I mean, we're passing that 13-minute mark, and it does seem like there's becoming a decent-sized number of these battle cruisers that I think could really start doing a little bit of some damage. Now, we are seeing the Corruptors are coming in, and that's going to be a great, you know, counter to this. But it does look like Serral once again is going to try to target fire down a lot of those siege tanks, doing a lot of damage here with these Locusts. But just the question is like, who's really in the lead right now? Both players are just kind of continuing to go back and forth, at least at this point in the game. I would say that I like the current position that Serral's in because of the mineral count, as well as he's pretty close in comparison with gas as SpeCial is as well. So very close in, you know, kind of in comparison here. I love how Serral is utilizing the Nidus network, at least at this point. He's doing an absolutely incredible job right now. But there are so many different battles happening all over the place. Once again, Mural Parasite is going to be called for Serral, and he is absolutely doing a lot of damage. Now, the question, though, that remains for me is there going to be enough Corruptors here to do enough damage? It's very hard to say. It looks like there are enough Corruptors, at least at this point, and just like that, it does look like those battle cruisers are going to fly out of there. But once again, more and more Zergans are going to be coming out of those cocoons, and this creep spread is all the way near that 5th base location I should say fourth base location of SpeCial. So I am going to say this though: these corruptors could, you know, they could tell the tale of the tape, especially if he decides to go for the Brood Lords, which it looks like he is getting that Greater Spire at least at this point in the game. Still trying to do as much damage as possible, getting another Nidus Worm out. What this is doing is it's creating this dynamic where Serral is able to pull SpeCial out of different positions because he has to respect the Nidus network to a certain extent, and SpeCial does such a good job. Now, losing the Swarm Host is not the greatest of you know, decisions. You don't just want to throw away those units for free, but Serral does have a lot of units. He's at that max supply or near the 200 supply here. SpeCial is kind of on his toes. Serral has been dictating the pace of this game for the greater part of, I would say, a good portion of this matchup. Once again, we are going to see a lot of these battle cruisers are going to start doing a lot of damage there, and just like that, the tides of battle have kind of turned here for SpeCial. SpeCial's got you know, a lot of those battle cruisers, and that was a very interesting move here in this game. Now, once again, we are going to see some Zergling run-bys. But yeah, just such back and forth. What an intense first game here in this grand finals that was played at the WCS spring event between these two. Man, two of the best players out there in the world in their respective races, just going at it as we approach that 16.5-minute mark. These battle cruisers are doing, you know, they're doing a substantial amount of, you know, damage when you really take into consideration everything. I think Serral was completely caught off guard with that earlier on in the game, but I've got to say there's just so much happening all over the map. It's hard to, it actually is really hard to kind of get a feel of who's really winning this game. It feels like Serral, you know, he's got that creep spread, he's got that vision. I feel like Serral is in a really good position right now. I like where he's at. And SpeCial, you know, it's really anybody's game at this point. We are seeing more and more Infestors that are going to be coming out, as well as a lot of Zerglings. We're seeing those +3 upgrades out of the armory for SpeCial, and he's got, you know, 2 of these battle cruisers on that production tab at this point. He's continuing the Cyclone production as well. But there is definitely, when you look at this, it looks like it's anybody's game. I mean, this could easily go either way at this point. The question that I'm wondering, though, is who's going to get the advantage, because once again, this battle cruiser lineup, I mean, this ball of units is just looking scary. But the question is, though, is there is a lot of those corruptors that are out. We are going to have to kind of keep our eyes on it. Those corruptors are starting to move out, but here we go. Once again, the cannons are going to begin. The battle is continuing near that midpoint of the map. These battle cruisers are going to be everything. If SpeCial, you know, really feels that he's got an opportunity to really take a 1-0 lead over Serral, he is going to absolutely need to hold on to these units. I mean, there is just absolutely no doubt about it. He's going to have to do what he can to not lose those units, and I think the Infestors have been very helpful for Serral so far in this game. That, you know, that Infestor, Roach, Ravager, Corruptor kind of composition, and then mixed in there with handfuls of Zerglings, definitely is working. But, you know, if you really think about it, SpeCial has got a nice, you know, he's got a nice setup going. It just looks like Serral is once again just trying to bleed his opponent dry. He's just completely taking over his entire half of the map. It is quite remarkable when you think about it. But once again, it looks like this army is going to be taking out this small army. But once again, Serral is going to go ahead and activate that Neural Parasite once again. So many of these Corruptors are doing a lot of damage to all of these battle cruisers. They are just caught off guard somewhat. Serral is doing so much damage right now. Oh my god. He could very well lose all of these battle cruisers, and that could be absolutely devastating, as his supply count is absolutely plummeting. So many of these units are going down. The SCVs are trying so hard to hold on. Oh, this is so painful to watch as those Corruptors are doing just a lot of damage there as SpeCial supply completely plummeted there down to the 130 mark, and now Zergling's starting to run in. Now Serral, that's the first engagement that he was able to just do a ton of damage to, and just now it is looking like it's a matter of time until Serral can obtain victory here, because he is doing just I mean, a ton of damage. I mean, those battle cruisers were everything for SpeCial, and he lost all of them. Now, obviously, SpeCial's not out of this thing just yet, but man, that was such a hard battle to lose, because now you've got that flyer attacks level 3 is going to be finishing up now for Serral. He's now able to re-up this army. He knows he's ahead, and all he's got to do is kind of take his time now. I mean, you know, SpeCial's re-upping a lot of those battle cruisers, but the problem with this is there's just units now that are just all over the place doing damage to different, you know, tech structures of SpeCial. So can SpeCial get back in this game? I think that's a huge question right now, as, I mean, we're just seeing time and time again, Serral is just absolutely outsmarting his opponent right now, just playing such good StarCraft 2. These units are just, I mean, what do you do if you're SpeCial at this point? How do you get back in this game? I just, you know, ground carapace level 3 is finishing up now. So Serral and SpeCial are both kind of at those +3/+3 upgrades. So the upgrades are basically the same, but the problem is SpeCial, or I should say Serral, just has so many units at this point at his disposal. His mineral count and his gas count are just absolutely out of this world right now. It looks like the fight is going to happen near the middle of the map once again, and it looks like all of these units are going to be pouncing on top. Neuroparasite is once again activated. GG is called, and Serral takes a 1-0 lead in this grand final. I hope you guys did enjoy this game between Serral and SpeCial, and if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe for news, stay positive, and I'll see you guys all in game number 2.